Harper Audio presents Laura Ryder's Masterpiece by Jane Hamilton. Performed by Alyssa Bresnahan. Copyright 2009 by Jane Hamilton. Production copyright 2009 by HarperCollins Publishers. Chapter 1. Just because Laura Ryder had no children didn't mean her husband was a homosexual. But the people of Hartley, Wisconsin, believed he was, and no babies seemed to them proof. They also could tell by his heavy-lidded eyes that were sweetly tapered, his thick dark lashes, his corkscrew curls, his skinny legs and the springy walk, and the fact that he often looked dreamily off in thought, as if he were trying to see over the rainbow. In the municipal chambers at a public meeting, a town councilman had once said that Charlie Ryder needed a shot of testosterone. It was a mystery to Laura that in Hartley, population 3,700, people who had never been to a gay pride parade or seen any cake boys that they knew of outside of TV actors were so sure about Charlie. She assumed that, like any place, the town was laced with fairies, not visible to the naked eye. But Charlie, she could testify, was not one of them. Laura herself had not been to a pride parade, but her personal experience included her flamboyant Uncle Will, her outrageous cousin Stephen, her theatrical playfellow Bubby from the old neighborhood, and also cousin Angie, who had tried to shock them all by having a lesbian phase in college. No one in the family, it turned out, cared. Mrs. Charles Ryder was the one qualified to set the residents straight about her husband, not because of her expertise with her various beloved queens, but because of her long life so far with the man himself. Make no mistake, Laura would have liked to say Charlie Ryder was crazy about women. Charlie was not squeamish. Charlie, if they must know, worshipped the pudendum. She wanted to lambaste the town, to tell them that the cruelty he had endured through his school years had been grossly misplaced. In the bedroom, he was not only at the ready, always. He was tender, appreciative, unabashed, and, incidentally, flexible. A night with Charlie was equivalent, both for burning calories and in the matter of muscle groups, to doing the complete regime of the Bowflex home gym. Charlie emphatically was not fag, Swisher, Fembo, Miss Nancy, Chum Chum, or any of the other names he'd been called since second grade. It had always impressed Laura that a town that thought it had so few gays had so many labels for the aberration that was supposedly her husband. The real problem was that after 12 years of marriage, Laura had become permanently tired of his enthusiasm. She'd realized that if you gave an inch, you were in for the mile, that if you were even occasionally available, he assumed the welcome mat was always on the stoop. She disliked the whole charade of fatigue or preoccupation, but she hated, too, how the pressure of his need had jumbled not only her body, but her brain. She was losing her mind, losing her ability to stay focused and organized. When he hung around her study after dinner, when his sighs seemed to blow through the house, she knew she'd have to give up her beautiful, well-thought-out plan for a productive evening. And for what? Come morning, there he'd be, eyeball to her eyeball, fresh, apparently, as a daisy, as if months, not hours, had passed since the last full-body slimnastic routine. Both before and after she'd quit sleeping with him, she'd read articles and books about sexual fatigue. There were features in women's magazines, often with photographs of bombed-out wives, shoulders sagging, bags under the eyes, sitting on perfectly made beds. Laura understood that she was among millions, that she was another casualty in what was clearly a national epidemic. She had explained it to Charlie as kindly as she could, saying that just as a horse had a finite number of jumps in her, so Laura had used up her quota. "No more jumping?" he said. "Not ever?" "I can't," Laura said. "I love you, but I can't." "What if we
Sample complete. Ready to continue?